Oh,
Hello, everyone. How's it going? Welcome to, I don't even know at this point anymore. Welcome to My Heart is a Chainsaw live show for the Late Night Book Club. Um, I'm kind of interested to see what your thoughts are on this book. It seems like from the Discord chat, some people are uh, not really loving this at the moment.
yeah.
I mean, overall on Goodreads, it has like a 3.58, which
Mhm.
I think it's a little warranted, but I guess we'll get into that in a little bit. But as always, please let us know your star ratings. I would be very curious to see if anyone gives this over, I don't know, 5 stars. So, all right, well, you guys want to give your ratings first,
Oh, who's
and
gonna go first?
let me know what you guys think.
Joel, you go first.
Oh, okay, okay.
Noelle was like, "I want to be the final girl." Ooh.
even though my name is literally the final day.
I know.
Okay. So I read most of this book on audio, and then I also got the ebook after a little bit because I was like, okay, I need the ebook to help with this because there was a lot of like, I'm gonna say building and like exposition in the beginning, and that carried on throughout quite a bit of the book until about, I would say, like the final third, where things did start picking up. But even then, I don't know if it was enough to save what the book had established so far. And I feel like for this kind of book, it's one that I would probably enjoy a lot more on a reread because I would kind of get a lot more from it. So I haven't really like solidified my star rating as of yet, but like based on like my experience of it, and I really love like slashers, and I think like the little references were also really like nice to kind of read on and be like, oh, I know exactly what they're referring to on that. But yeah, I think overall it's kind of at the minute like a 2.5/3 star for me. Until I can do a reread, and maybe then I will like it a lot more.
I agree that I'm still deciding on my star rating, but I have a lot to say about this book. So there were a couple things that I really, really loved. And it's just some generally interesting things that I love that books do that this book
Mhm.
did. So we have like a very meta book that is very aware of the genre it's living in. I think that's really cool. It was like Scream in a narrative style. Very cool to have a character comment on what it's doing and just have a conversation with other pieces of
Mhm.
art. I thought that was really, really cool and really fun to read. It's basically, if you've seen Scream, like Randy's character as a main character who's just like very into movies and is
Yes.
just a brilliant viewer of slasher films. Like
Mhm.
she was brilliant at her genre. The main character was. So that was really great. There was also, this is something I studied a lot in my degree, which was the quixotic character, where you have a character. It all came from like Don Quixote, which
Oh,
was
yeah.
a character who is just he's just a guy who reads a lot of romance and then decides that he's a knight, and like that's the life he's living. And so this character is very quixotic in the way that she is obsessed with slasher films and then starts living in one based off of
Mhm.
her obsession. So just like I loved like what the literature was doing with itself and like just how smart it was being. Um and there was one other thing that I thought. Oh, and I loved the interspersing the essays. And I also thought the essays were
Yes.
really interesting. Like there was a whole essays on Jaws as a slasher, which I thought was really, really cool. Um I agree though that I felt like the ramp up was it was so heavy on slasher and that
Mhm.
kind of tangible slasher character that the ending kind of caught me off guard and was confusing. I actually had to like read an article that was like, "Can someone explain the ending to me?" because I was so confused by like all the moving parts. So, I don't know what my rating would be, but I'm hoping through this conversation Joel and I find our way. So
Yes. Yes, true. What about you, Elias?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Sure. Oh no. Can you guys hear me? I wasn't sure.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Because my AirPods literally just died. So,
Oh no.
I don't know if that's a sign or not, but you guys, this book was giving me Survive the Night vibes, and I was just not here for it. No, while I 100% agree with that reference or comparison to Randy from Scream. And you know what? Why I love that same time, I also thought, I know it was so underwhelming. Like, imagine if we had to watch Scream from Randy's POV. I don't think it would have been. I don't think it would have been that interesting.
Yeah.
Which was the case for me here. I feel like the book itself was so slow. I listened to this on the audiobook on 2x speed. And even then, even physically reading at the same time, I was like, it just didn't work for me. The pacing was really weird too. For like a 400-page book, you can really feel its length. And I feel like when I expect from a slasher, it's more like engaging, super fast paced. But I feel like you can get the whole story, the gist of the story itself, even if you cut the book in half, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. And the writing to me was the weirdest aspect here. Like it was so, I don't know I can't put my finger on it. It was so inconsistent and clunky at times, and also really chaotic. Sometimes that could work, but I feel like in this case there was a lot of like exposition, info dumping, and a lot of run-on sentences. I don't know. I just didn't really like the main character as well as some aspects, which we can get into later. But
True.
I don't know. I just thought it would have been more interesting perhaps if we read it from Letha's perspective, POV. Maybe. I don't know. And I thought the ending was super anticlimactic. I was so just confused by everything that was like, because the whole book was so slow up to that point, right? The last like portion, and all of a sudden it started to like ramp up. Blood was everywhere, and people like were dying and shit. And I was like, usually, there could have been some payoff, but I don't think it was worth it, in my opinion. And I feel like if I hadn't known that this was like the first in a trilogy, I would have absolutely hated the ending. And I've actually read his novella before, which was Night of the Mannequins. And even then, I struggled with his writing. So I don't know if Stephen Graham Jones is an author for me. But I don't know. So that is my rating. Well, actually, I haven't given you guys a rating. My rating would be like a 1.5.
Oh, wow.
So I'm bordering on that. But
interesting.
I read this book, like half of it, like in the beginning before I left for Thailand, and then like I finished it when I came back. I honestly don't even remember what happens in like the beginning or the middle, and so I couldn't tell you. But this one was ultimately very disappointing. So that's just my thoughts on that.
Oh gosh.
I think I agree with you, Elias, that I don't think I would want to read a book or watch a movie all from Randy's perspective. It would just be overwhelming, and that's how this felt. Like the knowledge felt like there was so much slasher knowledge that I was like, well, I want you to live in your life now. Like you keep referencing all this other stuff, and I want you to be in your own movie for a while. So
true.
Yeah. So, oh my gosh. But yeah, I don't know. I just thought that there's so many, like, it has such a great premise and such like a great build up, like a really good idea. But I don't think, like, I was, expecting the direction that this book went in, because I was thinking in my mind, oh, it's gonna be slasher. Like literally, all of the kills up until the last act happened off screen. Like we never got to see. Okay, maybe like one or two, but like most of it was like off screen, and we never got to see it happen. And for my like expectations for a slasher, I would have liked to see some more gore and kills during that period of time. I don't know. I'm comparing this to like Clown in a Cornfield, which is like another YA slasher, and that one was really fun. That was like really super engaging, really fast paced. But while the premise was more interesting in here, and this obviously had more layers and depth to it, I still prefer Clown in a Cornfield, which is like another YA, slasher book. So
was this book YA? I thought it was adult.
No, it's YA, and it's super gory and bloody. So when I was reading this, I was like, it's kind of giving me the same. I don't know.
Oh, Clown in the Cornfield was, or this one's YA?
Oh no, Clown in the Cornfield is YA.
Okay, got it. Sorry.
Oh, I was thinking you were saying My Heart to Chainsaw is YA.
Oh,
like,
okay.
Is that?
It's YA, and this is adults. But
okay,
reading the two, it's like kind of the same-ish, you know, or in terms of like gore and blood and stuff. But yeah, so but I guess we can dive into spoiler territory now.
Oh, we can do.
I have a question for you guys. Who did you guys suspect to be the killer? Like, what did you guys think was going on? Did you call it the twist? Was it very subtle? What did you guys think? What did you guys think?
When I tell you reading this was like a fever dream, I literally like the twist at the end was just kind of like out of left field, and everything just felt kind of hard to like process. So I don't think I could have guessed who like the killer was, or like some of the twists that happened.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, what did you guys think of the final twist? Like, did you think it was something or someone human the entire time? Did you guys even think that there was like, I don't know, some other aspect, a possession of sorts? Like, did you think Thea was maybe possessed? I don't know. What did you guys think?
I think that's why I was so confused, because like it's set up for such a good slasher, and I actually really liked the route we were going towards, it being the dad of the final girl. Like I just thought it was interesting. It made the final girl confront her own understanding of family, and I thought that was cool. And it was kind of like the ending that Scream was trying to have, with Billy and Stu trying to frame it as the dad. So I thought like that was cool. And then we get this kind of supernatural ending, and I was like, that's why I had to look it up, because I couldn't connect there being a supernatural ending to this slasher that I thought was going to be the ending. You know.
Okay. I mean, what were your reactions when you thought that it turned out to be Stacey Graves doing most of the killing, and Thea was like, I don't know, just a handful of kills, but it was mostly Stacey Graves?
I kind of was just like, huh?
Yeah.
Like, what? I think it was just because, like Noelle said, like there wasn't really any hints towards any like supernatural elements throughout this. Then with the sudden inclusion of it, it was like, oh.
Yes.
I feel like the Scooby Gang should have been in this book, because I feel like they would have been able to solve it a lot better.
No, like I did appreciate being like the main character Jay being really like self-aware, adding like commentary in it. But I thought she was so annoying. Like, I mean, I get that she uses like slasher movies as a coping mechanism, right, in her life and everything, with all the abuse and everything that she's gone through. However, I just thought it was just too much, or it was just so like over the top and not in a good way. I don't know. I feel like if the author, I don't know, the way it's written was more subtle, but I don't know. It was just a lot. And every time she would just talk about slasher, and coming from someone who loves slasher movies and horror movies in general, I'm just like, girl, shut the fuck up. It's too much. She's monologuing when she's like running away. And she's like, I'm the final girl. Like, literally take a shot how many times she says, I'm the final girl, or you're the final girl. Like, you will literally die before the book even ends.
So that one thing that I did, so I agree with you. I think that it became really overwhelming, but I liked how she prescribed the other character as the final girl, because it was just fun to like watch her be like, well, she's the perfect final girl for this, 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 and this. But I think you're right. Like talking about specific movies and specific scenes became overwhelming. But then it was also interesting because, like, when I don't know, I just loved that essay about Jaws, because it made me look at Jaws in a different way. So in some ways, I feel like the author did a great job at researching the slashers that they talked about. And in other ways, I agree that like Randy in Scream is good in bits and pieces, but I don't want a whole book about Randy.
Yeah. You know? I definitely agree with that. And I think Ricky, this is really that's what I was thinking too.
It's a good comment.
It definitely read more literary fiction than like a fun horror.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it could have worked, but I don't know, the writing style for me was so weird.
It kind of reminds me of the earlier book that we read in the book club, Reprieve, which like aimed to be like a social horror.
Yes.
Because it kind of blended that like literary and horror aspect, but it didn't exactly work as well. So I feel like there's something there that is not exactly working out at the minute, but I feel like it just needs a certain perspective to work.
Yeah. Maybe it was dual POV, then we could have gotten a break from that
Leave
obsessive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like then we could have gotten like someone commenting on the obsession and then someone in the obsession. That could have been a good balance.
True. I think that would have been a lot better because then we
Yeah.
got that like outsider perspective of like Jade's mindset and being like,
Yeah, exactly.
Like, getting a taste from both
Ooh.
Brandy and Sydney,
Mhm.
It would have been interesting if we
Yeah.
got it from like the final girl that Jade was like, this is the final girl, and then Jade herself, because then it's
Yeah.
like final girl versus final girl.
Exactly.
Yeah, and apparently this is like the first in a trilogy, and apparently the second one is about Jade coming back to her hometown for like another trial of a serial killer who actually escapes during a blizzard or something like that.
Oh, interesting.
Because okay, before I even knew it was a trilogy, or she accidentally kills her dad, right? And it gets caught on camera, and she gets set in prison. And I'm just like, but it was an accident, and he kind of deserved it, But in the sequel, it sounds like it's even longer than this book. It's like close to 500 pages, and she like teams up with Letha again. I don't know if I will be continuing on. But you guys, I don't know. Are you guys interested in continuing on with this trilogy for the books?
Depends on my reread, honestly.
Oh yeah.
I think I'll
for rereading it. I think I will pass.
Yeah, I think I will give it a go, but I feel like with my experience so far, I'll probably have to wait to see people's reactions to the sequel before deciding.
I just love a standalone, so
Yes.
I'm terrible with following up through trilogies, I feel like, and since this one had such a confusing ending to me.
But Noelle, you continue on. Have you continued on with the rest of the Scream movies?
I have, and I'd love to have a full discussion around the newest one because that one, I have some feelings about that one.
Yeah, I really liked Shooting Glasses. Like throughout even his name, throughout the entire book, his name is just Shooting Glasses, and even Jade herself, she's like, I don't even know his name.
Who is he?
I like him as a character too, as well. Yes. Oh, have you guys actually read Stephen Graham Jones' other
No.
This is
I own it, but I haven't read it yet.
This is my very first one. I'm intrigued to read other ones, but I think I will wait a bit before doing so.
Yeah. Okay, I have another question for you guys. And for you guys in the chat as well. What would your role be in a slasher movie, and do you think you could survive?
Well, I feel like I'd be the character that figures out who the murderer is, and before I can tell anyone, I get killed, or killed. I then have to like hide and fake my death, and then I come out at the very end to be like, guys, it's this person, and then I die.
Okay, so you still die at the end. But...
Yeah, I still die, but I fake my death to throw everyone off.
Got it.
Everyone, nothing's saying you be the first one's killed.
So here's the thing: is I agree. I'd be the first one killed, except I'm so scared that I think I would trust my instincts to not do. Like, okay, Jesus, it sounds like all I've ever watched is Scream. But in Scream, I would have never gone into a garage by myself to get beers when a serial killer is on the loose. I would have never done anything alone. So I feel like I would die in a group because I wouldn't have gone.
In a group?
Like in the 2009 Friday the 13th when they're like all camping and they all die. It's like, okay, yeah, like I'd be in a group of people who were all targeted and I wouldn't run and fight for my life because I'm just so freaked out. But I think I'm just too nervous to give in to the obvious plot holes that some characters fall into.
Yeah. What about you, Elliot? Who would
you be? Like, there's a serial killer. Meanwhile, people are dying. No.
I'll just sit and read.
Just sit and read.
I think I would also die, but I
I'm not gonna say I'm gonna last to the end, but I would say I would try to put a fight, and I consider myself to be, really anxious. So I would have been like, give me it to myself. I'm just gonna be like, guys, we gotta go. If you're not gonna go, see ya, peace out. I'm gonna fucking run out of there. I'm not a very good detective either, so if there's like subtle clues or signs, it's gonna go over my head. I'm definitely not gonna see that. Jump scares will literally be the death of me. So if there's a jump scare, I will probably die.
It would be fun to do an escape room with you.
Oh my god. No, I did an escape room here like a couple months ago. Could not tell you how I helped anybody. I was just there's emotional and moral support. Could not tell you if like the clues were right there, right in front of me. I've been like, guys, I just know I'm the dumb one here.
Yeah. I'd be the same.
For everyone. So yeah.
I'd feel so dumb and so panicked that I'd be like, you guys just figure it out faster because we need to get out of here because I'm not going to be able to help you.
Between the three of us, I would assume that Noelle, Joel, you guys would be the ones to survive. If we were in a horror movie, I would be
Joel.
I would think I would be the one.
Joel is helping us out of that escape room.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. That is true.
Totally reading the
like,
signs.
okay. No, let's do this.
Did you guys have you guys ever read Final Girls by Riley Sager?
No. Oh, I did not.
Because that's like another slasher. Because there aren't too many adult slasher books that I've read. So I was just, asking if you guys knew any recommendations or any other books to recommend that are also slashers.
Well, I mean, Clown in the Cornfield, like we've already discussed, was a really good.
Clown in the Cornfield is great.
There's
also a sequel. It's so funny because I was not expecting that YA book about murderous clowns to get a sequel, and the sequel is Clowns in the Cornfield 2: Friendo Lives.
I think it's also getting adapted.
Was that?
I think it's also getting adapted.
It is?
I think so. I'll double check, but I think it is getting adapted into either a film or a TV show.
Okay, well, I'm here for it. So
I love
it. Oh yeah, Final Girl Support Group by Grady Hendrix is another one.
Yeah, it's a movie that's in the works.
Oh, okay, interesting. Good to know. Oh yeah, Final Girls. I thought it was okay. I really like the premise. I feel like I prefer Grady Hendrix writing over Stephen Graham Jones though. Personally.
Interesting.
But yeah, if you guys don't have any other questions for us in the chat, want us to talk about certain things.
Yeah.
Those are just my whole thoughts for My Heart is a Chainsaw. Ultimately, a little disappointing. Love the cover. Love the title. The premise sounds so great.
It's so gorgeous. I need to get I was like, I need to get a physical, but now I'm not sure if I will. Because I'm like, I don't really like it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
If Don't Worry, Darling was a book, what would you rate it?
Ooh, this will be interesting.
Ooh. Okay, you know what? I really like the movie. Contrast to a lot of other people. And I feel like Harry Styles, he was fine. Could Shia LaBeouf do any better in that role that he was in? I truly cannot tell you. And I don't even think so, because anyone acting like against Florence Pugh,
that's true.
Yeah.
Good call.
True.
I feel like he did the best with the role that he was given. And I feel like some of the clips like that Twitter was making fun of was taken out of context for me personally. I thought like it was fine. I don't know. I really like the twist in Don't Worry, Darling, just because I've never seen the works alluded to the movie. So
I saw someone compare it as like a Sword Art Online meets the Stepford Wives. And just because of that, I know that like the film just would not sell it for me. So I feel like if I was going to rate it like a book, I feel like just for Florence Pugh, I would give it like 2 stars.
Okay, fair.
I really liked it. I'm gonna do a 4. It was so
wow. Okay,
I don't know. I knew nothing about the movie going into it, so all of the twists were totally. Oh, thank you, Ricky. That's so nice. I did try the audiobook. Yes.
Yes.
It was a lot.
I tried the audiobook.
It was a lot.
2x speed. It was still so slow. I honestly, you guys, if you guys had just read the beginning and like read just a bit of the chapters and skip the middle and just go straight to the end, you will get the whole story.
The essays are fun if you want to
The
look
essays
at
are
Essays
fun
are good.
though. Yeah, I had to admit, I really liked seeing all the references. I'm like, I know that.
I
I know those are the dudes.
know,
But some
yeah.
of the obscure ones that he even mentioned, I was like, I know that shit. Quiz me.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it was sad.
It always happens. Another thing, speaking of supportive teachers, another series I've been watching is the new Wednesday one on Netflix.
How is it?
I really enjoy it. I
Yeah.
really like it.
Oh, it looks good. I saw the dance scene
Yes.
on YouTube, and I was like, I don't understand the context, but I'm liking it. So
I love Jenna Ortega. Just
Yeah.
as a person and an actress, and I think she's like a scream queen, an upcoming scream queen, and definitely here for it. I loved her in Scream 5, so can't wait to see her in Scream 6.
Ooh, what other horror books and movies would people recommend?
has someone
Um,
seen? I saw someone ask if any of us have seen Barbarian. Was anyone?
Yes,
No.
that movie was fucking bonkers. It was
Yeah.
crazy. I'm not gonna
It
say
was
anything to
so
spoil it
good.
because I need everyone to watch it. It's so
Yeah.
good.
Oh.
Like I'm really excited to see other works from this author or
Mhm.
director as well.
Yeah, I thought it was really good, and I thought Pennywise did a really good job at being creepy and not really know what was going on.
For sure.
Interesting.
Ooh, a book I would recommend that gave me a Nightmare on Elm Street. Okay, I describe this book as a Nightmare on Elm Street. If a Nightmare on Elm Street and Coraline had a love child, this would be this book. It's called. Wait.
Not you forgetting.
Wait. Let me look this up.
Joel, do you have any books or movies?
Oh, horror books or movies. What was the last like horror book I read? Oh my gosh, what was the last horror book I read? I've been in such like a state recently because I've been like building my bookshelves and stuff, so it's been hard to like remember. Oh, there was a book I read earlier this year that was really good. I'm gonna refer to my database.
Okay. While Joe, you figure that out. The book is called Imaginary Friend by Stephen Chbosky, author of Perks of Being a
Oh
Wallflower.
yeah.
Oh yes.
That book also has a low rating on Goodreads, but this one does not deserve that low rating. I thought it was so interesting and so dark and so gory and just so interesting. It's about this mother and son who moved to this small town, and in this small town, this boy wanders into the forest and finds a treehouse, and he goes missing for like a week or so. And the town's in a frenzy until he comes back unscathed, and he says that, "Hey, mom, we have to build a treehouse, or otherwise we'll all die on Christmas Day." And so
Oh.
that's the general premise of the book. But it was giving me Coraline vibes, and I'm on Elm Street, Stranger Things.
Creepy.
So, I mean, it's by the same author as Perks of Being a Wallflower, which is so wild to me because that's like an entirely different genre.
Yeah, when you said that, I was like, my brain can't process this
so
information.
I really like that book. So that's just another recommendation you guys can check out as well.
Anyone seen Smile?
Yes,
No,
another
I've
good one.
seen
I saw it.
the advertising and marketing campaigns for it. I was like, oh my gosh.
I
But
know,
then,
they did so good at that.
literally, what is your favorite scary movie? Ooh. What is my favorite scary movie?
My favorite horror franchise would be Scream.
Mm.
Noelle knows. She's wearing the Sydney shirt. Slashers are my favorite subgenres to watch from, and Scream is my favorite. I love that series a lot. I just think it's so like fun and like very self-aware as well, and just the twists and guessing who the killers are. It's always been really fun.
So if that's your favorite, what's the scary movie that scared you the worst?
To this date, I don't think I've ever watched a horror movie that has actually scared me.
Elias,
I would say The
Mm.
Conjuring, the first one, really creeped me out
Oh,
because I watched that one by myself.
Oh.
I watched it like on my phone, not knowing what it was gonna be. It was very creepy. I was a little unsettled, but I would also have to say The Haunting of Hill House.
ooh, that
Ooh.
jump scare.
Yeah, that jump scare. That was the first jump scare ever that has ever made me scream out loud. Like I legit screamed and everything. I was so shocked and like I laughed because it was amazing. But yeah.
How about you, Joel? Do you have a favorite and then scariest movie you've ever watched?
Oh, a favorite. Like I'm with Elias with like the Scream franchise, but then also I really like Hellraiser. I haven't seen the new one yet, but I really enjoyed like the 80s, like Hellraiser, 80s, 90s, like pre like Hellraiser. So I'm really excited to watch the new one. In terms of the one that scared me the most, see, it's like when I was younger, I watched like Final Destination, and like for me, like it was the third one where they burnt alive in the sunbed.
Oh
Oh
my
my
god,
god.
that one is so bad. It's so scary.
I was like, wow, that's me never going near like a sunbed tanning salon
Yes.
ever again. Like, not that I ever needed to, but like still.
What about you, Noelle?
Favorite? I mean, I love Scream, and I love the first Paranormal Activity because it just reminds me of high school and it's just so fun, and I don't know. So I love watching it every year. But scariest one is The Strangers. Oh my god, Home Invasion. We watched it like a month ago and I was like, we need to turn this off. Like I'm way too scared, even though I've seen it and it's like, like 15 years old. Why does it still scare me so much? But something about that
Did you
one.
watch the sequel?
I did. It was fun. I
I
thought
like that one too.
yeah, it was fun. I liked all the neon and the music and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, and speaking of Final Destination, they're making a sixth movie apparently, and this one has to do with
Oh.
like people who work in like the medical field or like police force and all that,
What?
like how they handle accidents because they're always in like dangerous scenarios and everything. So I think that's
Yeah.
Damn.
interesting, but I don't know what they're gonna do with it.
Yeah.
Oh, have you guys seen The Menu? But with
Haven't
Anya
watched it.
Taylor-Joy, it's
I
so
need
good.
to.
It is?
It's very good. It's also like meta a little bit,
Oh.
self-aware-ish.
I mean, it kind of links to like our next book, if I'm going right with what the menu tried to present.
Oh.
I would say, yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. I'm very excited for A Certain Hunger.
All I know about A Certain Hunger, it's about a woman who eats men. That's essentially it.
Yeah.
Aspirational.
It's a woman's rights and women's wrongs.
Aspirational.
Aspirational.
And yeah, so A Certain Hunger will be our next book, and this will be on whose channel?
Mine.
This will be on Joel's.
Yes.
And then that'll be it for this year. We'll be taking a break in
December.
I mean, considering how late we were before this.
I know.
I think we were settling on doing A Certain Hunger in January for the live show, purely because holiday season and stuff like that. So yeah, I think it'll be kind of nice to have like a little break for like a month and a bit, and stuff like that. In terms of my jumper to that one commenter, it's from Zara.
Come on, Zara.
So there you go. But yes, I think that's all like the housekeeping bits. Discord is the Discord as always.
Yeah, I guess this is it for this live show. Sorry. But thanks everyone for joining in, tuning in. It's been lovely to talk to all of you, catching up and everything. Oh yes, Joel, congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, congrats.
Okay, love to see it.
Oh, thank you.
God, exciting.
Oh, it was very exciting. I literally reached it yesterday and I was like, oh, we did it. Okay.
Did you celebrate at all? Did you get any candy? Anything?
I'm like preparing like a little celebratory like evening where I can
Good.
just like properly like celebrate because I was like I
Yes.
couldn't do it yesterday because I wasn't prepared at all. But I was like, oh okay, now I can prepare like a little time to fully celebrate, which will be really great.
I love that.
Ooh.
Pure Nessie for me.
I would literally was gonna say Ellis is gonna pick Piranesi.
Hands down, Pure
for-
Nessie.
For ones that like I hadn't read prior but had read for the book club, so
Yeah.
discount like Song of Achilles, Babel and stuff. I would probably agree with Piranesi as well.
Mhm.
Because it was definitely like a really good book that I thoroughly enjoyed.
Mhm.
Right up.
But then I also really liked Sea of Tranquility, so I'm kind of like,
Oh yeah, that was another good one. I feel like that's like another underrated one.
I'm looking at all of them. I think I agree. Piranesi was just such a surprising favorite. I really didn't know how I was going to feel about it, and then it
yeah.
just continued to be incredible. It was really fun.
That is clearly the best book we've read so far in this
Yeah.
book club.
I mean,
Literally-
Elias.
Literally.
Why didn't you
the
say
13th
anything?
season.
Honestly, we're gonna have the
I will
sequel
never
lined
get
up for
over-
next year.
Never get over this stupid ass book ever.
I keep seeing their other books on the shelves, and I'm like, Elias,
Oh.
birthday soon. Mm.
All right. Well, this will be it. Thank you so much, everyone. We'll see you next year for a certain kind of hunger over on Joel's channel. Thank you so much for tuning in for My Heart Is a Chainsaw and for reading this book with us. And I hope you guys all have a lovely Christmas holiday season.
Yes.
And hopefully we engage in more in the Discord, wishing everyone happy holidays. So talk to you guys all later.
See you soon.
You guys have a good one. Family, friends, celebrate. So, bye everyone. Wow, that sounded so. Sorry, my throat. Bye everyone. Bye everyone.
Bye everyone.